Hey everyone, so today I'm going to share about something that I've never talked about before in one of my YouTube videos, and today I'm going to be talking about my dad and also his mental health. My dad passed away in 2010, and he was manic depressive. That's the term that we used when I was a kid. Now I think it's bipolar, but with my dad's mental illness, it was him being high in the summertime, and during the winter months, my dad was really low. And this is just my personal experience growing up with a bipolar parent. At times it could be a little bit scary. I also remember the good times, the fun times that we had together, because my dad was kind of like a big kid. My brother even thought when we were younger that my dad was the other sibling instead of the dad. But also, before I keep going, I do want to mention that I am adopted, and I've had people speculate before, like in the past, like, oh, your dad was bipolar, so that means you're bipolar. And that's not the case. I do suffer from depression, but I'm not bipolar. But again, this is my personal experience, and my intention is not to down anyone or shame anyone, because I talk about mental health on this channel a lot, and it's just to bring up more conversations with you guys. And people who have a bipolar disorder, I have a lot of empathy for them, just like with anyone who has a mental illness that, it's difficult because you can't see it, like physically see it, but it is there, and you know the person is in a lot of pain, and you know that they're dealing with a lot. But to get back to my dad, again, in the summer times, he was really high, and he would buy cars, like sports cars, and sell them. So we did a lot of traveling because we often like drive to go get the car, and then we drive 2 cars back. And he also bought boats. My mom would get really pissed about that. And I think it's funny, and we would laugh about it later on. But those are the kinds of things he would do. And when I say he got scary sometimes, I only remember a few instances in my life where I was afraid of my dad, or just afraid of what was going to happen, or not know what to do in a situation. Like in the summertime, I remember one instance when he got really freaked out about wanting to buy a cheeseburger. Like he really wanted us all to go with him to get a cheeseburger, and he was just screaming about it, like just full on screaming, like, please take me to get a cheeseburger. Things like that. And that wasn't necessarily scary, it was just kind of off and odd, and I knew at the time, like, this is weird. There was also an instance when my dad was holding my mom down, and that was a scarier moment, and I wanted to like interfere. I wanted to break up their fight or their argument, but I didn't. I was just a bystander. I was probably like 10. No, I was probably like 13. Anyway, there was another instance when my mom and I left the house, and it was about midnight because my mom essentially didn't want to be raped. So we left the house. My dad really wanted to, do that. And my mom didn't want to, so we left the house at like midnight and drove around for a while, and then eventually we finally came back. But those are just some moments that I can remember that was scary. That was kind of the downside of his bipolarness, if that even makes sense. Bipolarness, I'm making up a new word here. But the thing about my dad is he did take medications for a little bit, but he never stuck with it. My dad was also kind of more of a radical Christian during the summer months. He was very into going to church, and then in the winter months, he hid in his bedroom. And I say hid because I never saw him during the winter months and the fall months. Is he would go to the bedroom and close the door, and he was just really, really low. And he thought that God wanted him to have manic depressive disorder. He thought that God wanted him to suffer with this illness. This is where religion can be dangerous, because my dad could have gotten some help. I think he did try therapy, he did try medications, and he didn't think anything was really working, or for a time he did try medications and then he felt better and then he didn't want to be on them. So that doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean. You take a medication, you start feeling better, that means it's working. But for him, he didn't want to be on anything. So I wish he was still alive during this time while I'm taking medications, and it's really working for me, because there's so many conversations I wish I could have with my dad, but one of them would have been, I want to encourage you to try this, because what if it works? Like, what if it works? What if you start feeling better and your mood is more stable and it's not this or this? Like, what if it was like an in-between? Wild. Wild idea, I know. The reason why I want to talk about this today is because I want to draw more awareness to relationships with family members who might be suffering from a mental illness. And this is something, again, I don't talk about. I talk about mental health a lot, but I never talk about like what it's like with family members and how that can be scary at times, how you don't know what to do, you don't know how to be supportive, you don't know how to be there for someone. And I'm going to put some very helpful links down below in the description bar so you guys can check that out. And they're just some things that I found really helpful, things that I've learned, and it's just information that I want to share because if you're currently going through this, know that you're not alone, know that it does get better and there is help out there. But my dad, unfortunately, he never really got to that point where he was balanced. He was always like high or low. And of course, I loved him to death. He was my dad. He was my hero, you know. So I miss him every day. I think about him a lot. I think first and foremost, I think about his smile and his laugh. Like that's the first thing I think of when I think of my dad. And all the fun that we had together because we liked to have fun. My dad could really have fun. But again, if you are someone currently going through this and you don't know what to do, you don't know how to help them, again, check out the links below because I think they are very helpful and it's just good to stay informed and know about new information that's out there. And hopefully the more that you know and learn about your person's condition, the more you might be able to help or at least point them in the right direction. But that's it for this video. I hope you found it somewhat useful or even encouraging. But I hope you guys are having a great day and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, bye.